Good afternoon and welcome to Markets Today. I'm your host. My name is Mbithe Moema. Co-hosting this show with me is Mr. George Bordo. George, what's happening? Looks like a very exciting day on the market today.
Yeah, turnover is probably likely to cross R1 billion.
960 million shillings worth of turnover has been traded. That's very exciting, at least for the three key traders that have been active in the market.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of trades going through Equity Bank, about 17.7 million shares traded, 39.5. Very exciting, slightly lower than what the price closed yesterday at about 40.20, 4.20. Today it's at 39. I think it traded at
39.95.
0.95, so not too far off. Okay.
Over 70, close to 18 million shares traded. It's a
All
big
right.
trade.
Big trade. So, I mean, we were just talking to the traders just before we came to the show. It looks like it was three key traders that actually crossed this 17 million worth of shares. It's a foreign, no local participation.
Yeah.
We understand there's a new local buyer who's out in the market looking for shares. So we could potentially see another similar amount of about 17 million, at least over this week or over the next 2 to 3 weeks, coming along as this particular person with heavy pockets looks to fill up on their equity shares. What else is happening, George?
Well, a lot of things happening across the Atlantic.
Yes, Argentina. Worst day.
Not even Argentina. I
Okay.
mean, the United Kingdom, I was just coming in, just read that the yield curve in the United Kingdom has actually inverted.
Inverted, wow.
Yes, an inverted yield curve typically means there's a spread between the short-term, the 10-year yield and probably the 1-year yield is actually below zero. So
Wow.
it's that means that
Okay. So expect more money to flow into our fixed
yield
income market.
curve, I don't know how, I mean, the US yield curve inversion happened a couple of months ago.
And then now the UK
Now the
inversion has just
UK,
happened.
I don't want to say that a yield curve is an economist and potentially points to a recession, but I think it's more of market activities. I think there's a lot of money pouring into fixed income market globally.
Okay.
And I think for me it's the demand side issue. I don't want to say that the yield curve is an economist and it's trying to project a recession in the UK or the
Okay.
US.
But I look at it
something
differently.
to watch.
It's certainly more money is
Something
going
to
to find
watch.
its way into emerging markets, at least
Yeah.
on the fixed income, because we are giving positive returns and our currency is more or less steady, unless something actually happens to trigger the currency, which, by the way, overnight was stable at 103, 103.10. That's what the traders are quoting it at. But then also, let's see, how does it stand? Because Argentina had its worst day yesterday, down 48%. Stocks, there was a huge stock sell-off, largely because of the political surprise that happened over the weekend.
Yeah, for me, Argentina is always, I mean, this is the first time Argentina is going through a crisis. I mean, you had a crisis before Mauricio Macri came, and they had an IMF bailout.
Yes.
Not sure if that's going to happen, but ideally, when asset prices collapse by half, it's not very good. I mean, for pension, it's not good for local investors, domestic investors.
It's certainly not.
But I think maybe the keyword for Argentina for now should be is if they dollarize. I think that could help.
And I mean, also everybody's just trying to see how Fernandez will deal with the IMF and whether he's going to be populist,
Yeah.
because Markey had sort of started
It has been
capitalistic.
populist, and the market doesn't seem to like them actually.
So let's see.
And this is why you're seeing the asset prices collapsing.
Let's see.
in
But
Argentina.
George, you see, I think what is more important, at least from where I stand, is the fact that we are slightly shielded away from that kind of crisis in terms of investor sentiment.
Yeah.
Africa, we are largely away. I think that's really going to affect South Africa. But then also on the flip side, we saw a positive day yesterday for US equities, largely because the president said he's going to delay their execution, or rather the implementation of the proposed tariffs. So I think for us, it's still positive sentiment, at least with
Yeah.
the big trade that we've seen on Equity Bank, which I understand the seller is more of a foreign client based in Europe. So it does tell us that, okay, fine, there's still activity happening here, but we are in a way shielded from that kind of negative and adverse investor sentiment, so to speak.
Yeah, for now we appear to be shielded.
We appear to be shielded.
Yeah, for now.
KCB is announcing tomorrow, George. I know you're looking out for the second quarter earnings to see what's happening there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very bullish about the Q2 numbers, but let's wait and see what's happening.
Yes.
I'd be more interested. Something we'll be looking for tomorrow is the performance of the regional, the subsidiaries.
South Sudan especially.
South Sudan, I don't think there's anything going on much in South Sudan. But I think
No, but it's
more
interesting
looking
because Stanbic did say that despite the political standoff that's been ongoing there, they've actually still been able to make money because they've been moving money, especially hard currency, and they've been able to earn transactional fees out of that. At least when they announced last week, they said they didn't get an adverse effect on their financials from the South Sudan operation.
No, I think for me, Stanbic lost it when they lost the central bank's business.
Okay.
So I don't think there's.
So this is different.
I think in my view, they should actually close that business.
They should close. So, but this is for KCB. It's
KCB
different because they're doing
different.
government business.
Yeah,
actually,
they've done a lot. They have a lot of branches. They've had to close a number of them over the last
so
2 years.
Looking to see how that.
Done the downside, but I don't think. I think for me, South Sudan is no longer a market, and anybody in South Sudan, any bank in South Sudan is just bleeding money.
I think the thing here is to see if they can actually do double-digit year-on-year growth, at least for the first half numbers, and then also just to try and get a sense of what is happening on the quarter-on-quarter. But what is very exciting for me, George, is what's happening at a macro level. Are people interested in borrowing outside of KCB and PESA? And what sectors are borrowing? What sectors are they seeing demand for credit from? And also, where are these deposits coming from? And really, what's their outlook with regards to the rate cap and whether they'll keep putting money or rather giving money to the government, or they're happy to start lending?
I think the largest balance sheet, they probably will give us a clue whether
exactly
private sector loan demand is there or not.
All right.
And where is it coming from?
Certainly. All right. So all of that is happening tomorrow morning. We will give you a detailed review of these numbers tomorrow if you join us. We're always running live on the Metropole TV YouTube channel. Today, however, we want to take a deep dive and understand what's happening on fixed income. Who's been putting money in? Who's putting money out? What papers do you need to be focusing on? And more importantly, where do you need to price your bids for this week during the 10-year reopen that's ongoing for this week? And there's also a 20-year issuance that is also supposed to be happening this week. To help us in this conversation, Mr. Edwin Churi, who's the head of research at Dyer & Blair Capital, Edwin Churi, who's the head of research at Dyer & Blair Investment Bank, will be joining us to have this conversation. We take a short break to go on to the daily commodities. Don't go too far. We'll be back shortly.